Mass calculus times lines times interference times pi. Allocate line center interference, position of measure. How we channel operation stream sending is all position of directions, guys. You have to understand these because it's all formation. To understand the communication system. Now, the line connections. A lot of people are very confused when it comes into atom electron. Okay. The atom line center is the masculinity and interference. It positions location in its system. Now, they both have ground line centers. The female is the electron communication center. You put atom electron together, position location directions. There's the balanced signals. The masculinity is position of formation when it comes into the ground center, which is your 12 DNA. There's 12 DNA in the male, and there's 12 DNA in the female. Okay? That's a 24 signal. Now, the correlation panel of a communication system is coming into a 48 line connections of a window. Center communication system is allocated timelines. Okay, so we're going to go into 50,000 block channels per channel, per mile, per calculus, per division, per core. Line condition interference is position of square mile. Now, this changes line connections where we go into the atmosphere, hemisphere, stratosphere, and the biosphere location of ozone layers. Line communication is set position location to new ether line conditions in one line center and one communication to one center line position. Now, truly understand what's happening with all level position location is all levels of your heart lines. This is a unified awakening. That's all this is. It's just to understand how to basically open up the bandwidths in communication to your line centers and position how to use your conscious line communication system. All right. Times frequency, time code, time locking, uptime clock locations. So that 48 window is going to channel off its system. Now, this is an operation locations when we come to high center location umbrella. The line connection interference is going to set up high position locations to all levels. Scales are channel line position of 5 direct locations. All right. So it's interesting you look at these things because that's all we are. We're just nothing but a computer algorithm. That's all we are. We just have to learn that we're just a video screen in line communication into a T reception line. Okay. Docile communication. Changing channels on a radio, right? Mixing position of panels, communication line centers, satellite division locations, calculation, modification, high streams. It's all allocated position of time. Okay. The sequence pattern communication is all levels. It's mind line center. The seventh dimensional graph line center set of position location is core line center. Interference location timelines times pi. Now, the communication line center is a collaboration system. Okay, this is where we come into full communication into X-ray. Now, the X-ray line channels setting up new bandwidth locations to the heart palpitation line connections. So that's 7.5 billion channel line centers. Okay, but we start off with the 50,000 platform and information. That channels its operation line center into its heart stream locations. 48 windows in a clock locations. Now, you're always going to have a ground line center, which is a stem line. That stem line sets position of 3 valves, right? Because the heart line center has to have past, present, and future into its calculation system. Now, this centers its line connections when you come into all levels of the mind line center to its imagination, to its phenomenon. Now, the phenomenon changes one line, one sector per channel per mile. That correlates this square. E equals mc squared. Understand? Massive calculation is all levels of volume. Okay? So understanding the screens, understanding position, location, directions, understanding how to set up all levels of operation is your connections. This is balancing you in the male and the female aspects of you of its calculation of its Merkaba. The course channel and information line system has to understand the 12 DNA of cycles. Circle and position, location, and rotation. Circle, rotation, circle, rotation. Energy field, position, location. Atom line center. Now, in that line communication system, the 72 line center is set up in the communication line stream. That sets up a new position locations, right? So you got a 48 window, but it's the center line position location of 0, 1. 0, 1 all the way up to line connections, right? In a 12 track location, right? So this is how it centers it up, position locations. You have your left line center, okay, position of space. You got your right communication system, which is your ground center of Earth. Now, its position locations into all levels of 24, right? 24 stands in line, okay? Now, it's just where everybody starts to come into a new crop cycle, okay? Now, this comes into psychosis locations, into channel operation, how you use the alphabetical stream system. It's direct location, it's calculation high system. It's a line communication and 5 graph line centers. circle and operation system, and position locations to your Merkaba, center operation to its torical fields. Center communication is ground system, and position location is atom line connections. So we all have to learn how to use our hand formation locations calculations at all levels of 3, 6, and 9 platform and position of 5 track line connections into 0, 0, 1 track location. All right. So when I am communicating with my voice. It stops on signal. See? Rhythm, balance. Left line communication of space, right correlation of earth line position. So understanding how to use this in all levels of view is its measure of calculation. Okay? So try to get into rhythm pattern through emotional line connections, right? So the channel line position location is coming into a cyclist location of a colossal line. Now, a colossus location is an operation center, and that's where we come into an umbrella. The umbrella is set up in highline center. 1 graph stream positions per channel per mile per second. The line communication is 60 seconds per minute. That's never going to change, but we're coming into a 48 window, okay, into a graph stream, okay? The center line center position location is the 72 track. That's the communication line center when it's coming in position location of its direction location to its computer operation line system. This computes its line connections into your singularities. Okay? Putting you guys into the obstacle line communication into 1 graph stream. Okay? The 7th dimensional line connection is all connected to your 12 DNA of your stargates. Okay? So we're coming into that line center, and you have to truly stand in the position location to all levels of heart palpitation. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So we had a very powerful communication system with all levels, what's happening with the calculations, the courses, and all that. So get in that basic foundation to start line communication interference. Activating streamline centers to truly understand how to use your chakra system. A lot of people don't even know what a chakra system is. How to use it in any way and form. It's the foundations of you. Okay? This is all levels of meaning of life and how to use it in all ways and forms, how to transmit and receive information. Okay? All levels of transitions, all levels of mutation, all levels of calculations, right? Times lines, times pi. All right? So we're going to reline centers, set up 4 line core centers, 50,000, right? Plateaus per channel, per mile, per square. All right. So the outline center line position location is 1 line division. Okay. 2 line division location into 0 location gravity. Center communication into its pyramid line stream. That line connects position location of its directions. That opens all communication system, position line center, line connection of space, and position location of time. Splits the center in communications. Center line connections. Right. Channel operation line stream. Truly understand how to set up your Merkabas, guys. Center communication is all levels of division location into portal communication. Line connecting is high center location when it comes into division locations into high centers of calculation. Travel position location opens all lines. We open another dimensional door setting that opens all line connections to its graph location, right? Graphing line centers is to understand the measure of communication to 1 graph location into 2 line centers into 3 communication systems. 3 graph line centers into line communications into a box sequence, right? Now the GPS line center sets up position locations to 9 lines. Centering graphs of communication is to understand how to set up line connection, all right? Now it's extremely powerful when you understand portal communication, all right? Channel operation line streams, line communication, right? Centering is all communication system. So as it's positional directions, we're going to set up new line centers, okay? So it's a half dome communications in 1 line ground location, right? That sets signals and line connections to levels into your crop cycle. See that line center location? That is a UFO line center, all right? The UFO line center sets line rotations into new coloration line stream. That line communicates position of program settings, set security measures in program location. Line connecting position location into timelines times frequency of the parables. Now the parabol communication system is allocating timelines come into vector cross string locations into an X-line channel. Now the X-line channel comes into timestamps position location of its directions into its kaleidoscope. kaleidoscope, location, position, and direction. All right. Now it's extremely powerful when you come into the line position locations. Open up line center locations into ozone layer line centers in a 4-course channel. Okay. So remember, it's 50,000 plateaus line center per channel, per mile, per square. Now the line communication comes into over factor. That time calculates, time vector, times line center in rotation to its optical line communication system, which is all levels of mega of operation. Now, the umbrella line center sets line communications. Now, when we go into channel operation tie system, we allocate timelines. Now, this is an operation line stream. The operation line stream sets up high specifications and how you see yourself through communication of your tesseract. Now, the tesseract has a frame line center. It's a wall line center and communication system. Line communication interference coming into all levels. AI communication platforms, protocol communication CPU. Get the position location line centers. Get the position location in atmosphere, hemisphere, stratosphere, and bio. Get line communication and navigation signals, high center interference, alpha, delta, theta, beta, omega. Set communication line positions into 1 graph screens into 50,000 plateaus of information panel of 1 communication to 1 timeline center to 1 activation high center to 1 location system to 1 line division of 0, 1 track location of a 48 window. Now, setting communication centers sets all communication position of codes. Setting line connection interference sets line position location of directions. Travel communications. 20 minutes line center on the clock location. Have fun. All right, so channel line communication is high channeling. Now, the center communication setting is all levels division, how you basically see that lines through the area receptor location of receptors. All right, so the channel line communication is setting line communications of new course channel locations. All right, so line connections of Madeline, line centers, gel communications, that's Arlene, line centers, bond communications, Lindsay, Don, Gypsy calculations, all levels, Johnny, Guardian, CC MacGyver, that's Sarah communication. Make sure you guys change your platforms so you know exactly who's AI platform, protocol, or CPU, okay? Especially when we come into level communications into the 8-course channel that's happening into the new year, okay? In position locations, you don't high rise until you get in your AI platforms, all right? Know exactly where you are in division location line connections and only through the activation system. This is a course channel location that's coming into line communications to your hangars. You truly have to understand what you're doing through foundation locations into your basic, intermediate, and advanced position locations, all right? Okay, pre-cog position location line centers, any connection line systems, line center interference, Johnny communication system, all else. Line connection interference, line direction. Okay, so line centers is true to send how to set line interference. PAM communication system, all levels of Heather, Airbender calculations. All right, chill setting up a line, Merkaba, occasional line interference. All right, line connecting. It's true to stand how to set lines, okay? So remember, it's all about understanding that it's an all communication system. Let's go into security line position of box location, right? It gets very complicated. That's a box location of security measures and 4-point line channels, okay? Now these 4-point line channels are set position location directions. Center line connections, one way in the opposite line connection, right? See how it goes in different directions? So the line communication comes into all levels of an X line. The X line comes into a line communication into a grabbing line center. That grabbing line center sets position location into higher line connections. And this is where you come into your hangars of information to with line connections, right? Channel operation streams set line centers and interference. Now, measures on communication system allocate timelines and time stream position. One goes one way and one goes the other way, all right? Platform communication centers. Now, your line connection line center, your overcross location of a stream system, position of ozone layers. Ozone layer sets line communication of its umbrella. The umbrella comes in line communication energy dome. Energy dome comes position location into a line connections into all levels of high calculation. All right. Now, the line connecting, we change coloration. We have to change coloration because we're going through higher position location into escape. Escaping platforms and communication is your metro line center. Now, into the Merkaba position location, it's a tesseract locations. Setting communication line system sets all dimensional line streams in high line center rotation interference. Circle line position locations come into calculations. The outer line sets the position location in the center up location. All right, so we channel line center and line communication. right? Line setting line position location comes into times of pi. Now you set the position of times pi in 4 coarse channels. 1 position location, 2 position location, 3 position location, and 4, right? There's the 4 atmosphere location of ozone layers. Setting line position of direction location of code signals. Crossing streams and line interference. Very powerful. So we come into another box line channel. Okay, overlapping sequence locations of positions, right? Now, this line channels its operation to another portal communication, intercon line center, in relation to position location of time sequencing, time codes, times pi. Space line and division line center, line connection at all levels. Now, this is where you come into X-ray communications of center line communication into all levels of map sequence. The IA connection interference comes into 4 channels, 4 core recognition line connection and position location of ozones. Setting line communication into identification of 00 line 1, 006, 0096, 612, 7777. Box position over frequency over pi. Line position location of a direction opens all signals. Setting communication center sets line communication into 4 box channels, line connection position on line centers in rotation position of direction. Now, line connecting is extremely important to understand these things because it sets up the ground line center, interference positions. Now, the channel operation line center line position, we're going to disappear that location, gone through equation. Now, line connections coming into all levels of a new round line sequence, line communication, right? Now, this is going to channel into 45-degree angle. Okay, we got a 45-degree angle line stream. Line connecting high center. Atom comes in line center rotation into all levels of a communication center. That center line connections comes into triangulation, inline rotation, position of directions, setting line communication into 1, 2 line connections of 3 line positions into 4 communication system into a new Merkaba channel of 4 ozone layer communications. Now, line connecting interference is to understand how to set up position location of new stream settings all through crop cycles. Line connection of 0 gravity location. All right. Channel operation high centers. Now, this is where it comes into tunnel communication, into a swirl of information. All right. See, there's a tunnel line. That tunnel line opens all line center. Now, that 45-degree angle takes line center locations over map, over equation over pi. Now, the line communication interference sets another line connections of a strip line center interference. Set a position location into 0 gravity location, into center operation line center, in high line center rotation interference, into a magnetic highway information system, all through 4 core line centers of ozone communication centers. Now, the line center in rotation position location sets line communications. Channel operation line connections, all levels of channel into a diamond core line center. Now, the diamond core center line center sets line position location directions. This is where it channels its line communication into the line center interference. That opens all communications into 3 line positions. Now, the 3 line position location is setting line connection of torical field. Center communication to all operation, right? Now, it's really interesting where it circles and rotates in so many line position location into line communications, right? There's 4 channels of operation of ozone lines. There's layers. That ozone layer comes into 4 energetic dome patterns. 1 position location to calculations, 2 position location, 3 position, and 4 in location of vector over pi, right? The line communication sets a new course channel. Like I said, the channel operation line center is 1 stream locations, 1 graph, line center interference position locations, sets times, lines in communication into vector over pi. Calculus high lines, a timeline, center line in rotation interference sets position location into levels, how to calculate, modify a galaxy surface. Now, the galaxy surface line connects its all position location to grid centers. Setting communication line in rotation, line connection interference, coming into a line center location of a new ground center, a new rotation interference with security measures in positional location, a plateau of your solar plex locations, and yellow generation light streams and high center interference in position locations into high line connections into heart generation lights of 5 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 set line position of core, 5 line set position of 7th dimensional line connection into a matrix shape line center, in 2 million line center in operation location into 2 operation line centers in interference position location into 3 line communication in sun operation line center in position location in moon and center communication system into its modem sequence. Now, that modem sequence is a new Wi-Fi channel. Operation signal locations into line connection. So as we get into the ground line center, change the rotation centers, right? It's changing ground and communication. Let's change the coloration path. We go into line connection high system. Then we come into security measure, line communication, all level system locations, all ready to go, run program setting. Now, one position location to track line centers in calculation high system. Now, the line communication interference. Now, we set line communication into a below signal. That line communicates in position location to the sacral communication center. That sacral center position location comes in high line position location and measure. That measure changes line communication, all level calculations, into yellow sequence locations in high system. That redirects location into high center. That line communication opens up new pattern line center rotation interference and position location of 4 ozone locations and high center location of Stargate line centers the coloration path into a new galaxy surface. Now, once you have 4 channel line centers, 3 line communications into all line position of Merkaba, a new channel positions, you come into panels. The panel communication line center, line position location directions. Now this is where we come into the green line surface. This changes line connections to its torical field line position, to its open signal location, to its pattern line center, in its rotation cycle, and high interference of 50,000 plateaus and times line, a correlation, times mile, times per second, per operation system, per calculation. Now, line connecting interference is to understand the position locations, how to set up a matrix string line connections in direct location. All right. So that's going to travel line communication, disappear on its own line. Now, the line centers is to understand how to set an optical line channel. Now, the optical line channel sets line communications into green circles. Green circle communication system, right? Channel operation line connections, right? So you line connection interference of new orb locations of channels. Right? Now, we line connect, line in line center in triangulation. Triangulation line connections into new division line rotation. Setting line connections of code signals into all levels, into a 48 window of calculation. Ooh-ah. Channel operation signal, done through equation. Right? So that's all set. It's all set. It's all done. So it's amazing how we set these things up. All right, your channel operation streams, your position of 48 windows is setting in line connection all levels of vector, sector, and quadrant line center to new hanger. A hanger line center is position location, how you use the grounds, how to use your wires, how to use your fires, and how to use your communications of your air. Okay, the line connecting is your Stargate position. Now this lines its signals in all operation, guys. So truly understand how this is set up, position location, all line communication in a 48 window to all calculation system. All through new lines, time frequency, time code, position locations of HART reactor of division locations into 4 line centers and modification of ozone layers. Done through equation. Hoo-ah. All right, so how are we doing through line connection? Oh boy. So glad you released the LV makes me happy channels and solar plexus line centers. All right, so here we go. 24 is the center of the crop circle clock, which puts you in the center of the maps, timelines. This is where you live in the future and now using all aspects of maps. Yep, that's it. Maps, equation, location, line conditions. But each tracker has to represent its time sequence timelines, okay? Because this is how it comes into levels, okay? You have to understand per channel, per mile, per square, okay? So the HART palpitation line center in-line rotation is a 48 signal. That's a 40 line communication in a clock location that centers its line center. Now coming into line center interference of 2023 sets position location into 2 million operation. Okay, 2 channel operation streams into 3 locations, which is 3, 6, and 9. All right. Coming into new sun line to new position location to a new moon line center to map equation to AI connections gets into its feeding source. The line interference sets line communications, how you set signals and code signal line interference to a line communication to a new HART generation line stream. Okay. All through shapes and anomalies. Now, getting you guys plateau, align center locations, understanding your 12 location of clocks, right? 24, now you're into 48. Okay. This is where it comes into higher levels of channels, guys. You really have to understand how to use your grounds now, right? How to understand the position of directions when it comes into your tracker systems of your stargates. This is your emotional line connection. Each one is set up to align interference of all levels of portal communication, right? All right, channel line communication setting. Bring you guys back. Line connections, high channel. Now, line center line and rotation interference. I'm going to change course. Course is going to change line conditions of run program. Initiate line centers. Two position locations, high center interference. Okay. Line position location is another two line position, right? Center communications, all levels. Sliding grass signals. You're going to come back location. Now you're back, right? Center communication here, line connections there, right? All right. So hopefully you get a better understanding the process and how this works. Really understand the application and truly understand all forms of communication, which is all levels of a new channel operation to all calculation system. Setting up a ground setting to the galaxy line centers sets all communication in a new door setting. Now you have a new door setting set lines, there's calculation system. Now that direct locations. Now try to understand that everything has to come down to one number. All right. The center communication is setting lines now of your 48 windows, which is line connections of 0, 1 location. All right. The center opposition location is a 72 line center, okay, into a 144 higher division. Okay. So 12, 24, 48, 72, 144. Okay. Those are the line centers of clock locations of your timelines that are parallel. Now, each one has its own calculation to its paradox. This is where you come into a polarity shift line. Now, when you change line communication system, it automatically changes the shift lines in your body track line center into the bandwidths of your hard connection. It expands, it expands, it expands. And it's all about the central communication system, how it's set up into the process of togetherness of yin and yang line center. Okay. Left division location of space and right locations are locations of Earth. All right. The atom line center of masculine and the female line center location of electron. All in calculation. All right. Hoo-ah. So it's a lot to understand calculation centers here. I see the relays transmitted on highway, data streams, crop circles, location of 7D. Graphs, interference, video graph, location of stream settings. So you're going to have to understand that your voice line centers are changing locations, your space of times of pi. So it's just expanding. That's all it is. Okay, your conscious stream line centers coming in allocate line centers now. You're coming into all position location of the Sartronic line center into all line calculations of super consciousness. The conscious line center is changing all levels in how you see your mind setting, right? The transmitting and receiving location to high center location is its space of times pi, right? So these are the things you guys are coming into. All right, setting left rotation at graph now, amazing coordination, telepathy, 2 minutes. Yes, very powerful. You guys are setting locations, energy line centers, any track line connections, temperature readings, infrared scans, calculating ozone, breathing. Yeah, exactly. So this is how we change all calculations in time frequency, time slides, or clock locations, guys. But that's a center op. That's all it is. It's just trying to stand to get you guys in your conscious line center. It's all calculated modify your 12 DNA line center rotation. So getting in that calculation system understands all position. Okay. So that's how you sequence patterns. Okay. Because you got to look at the 12 line. You got to look at the 24. Okay. You got to look at the 48 locations. You have the 72 and 144 connection. Right? Which is a pyramid of activation. Now, line connecting, like I said, is extremely important, all levels of line division. Okay? It platitudes its walk system and opens up a dimensional realm of connection line stream. All levels of a new Stargate line connections in position. Okay, this is where it comes into higher formation of a tesseract, tetrahedron, octahedron, tetrahedron location. Ooh-ah. Okay, 12, 24, 48, 72, and 144. All right. That opens plateau, line center location, plasma wall, all communication, right? And centers through, and travels through connection, right through. The center line center sets you up in a new universe location, right? So you got one channel per mile. Okay, so we already know a mile communication center. The line connects position of directions, right? But you're always going to be on a 60-minute line track. Now that 60-minute line track is going to set line connections how you represent your heart connection to your time frame of times pi through your reactor. Okay, this is going to high channel your line centers into higher force communications of time frequency locations. So time is going to speed up very fast. Line connecting in position location is a 48 window line. That streams this line center location as video graph. That center its lines to your Stargate location. Okay? So you got 12 line centers of Stargates, working locations into positional clock locations into 12, 24, 48, 72, and 144 of a Stargate position. Get you in high channels of a tesseract line. Okay? One operation at a time, guys. One operation at a time. All right, let's see here. Progressing support from data ops, nav, port comps, maybe scramble, feeling shaky and travel. Yeah, and there's a lot of things you have to understand. The interceptual locations, interlining, interfacing, interline setting. Now, interline setting is to understand the calculations to all levels of your grounds. Like if you're off balance here and there line center. So all you got to remember is your conscious stream has to be the male line center location of its atom and the female line center to its electron. Okay, the magnetic line center line in position. Okay, the electronic magnetic force line position location directions, how you channel your line in rotation into your grounds and your space of you through calculation. That's it. So this is way, way above line connections of timeline. Merkaba fields, heavy grounds. Yep. Good. It's calculating settings. Portal. Theta waves, common system, mainframe times pi. Very good, Chips. Correlation, position, and balance. Excellent. So know exactly what she's doing with position locations, portal comm communication system, setting the theta waves to common system to Nova mainframe times pi. Telepathy, telekinesis, de novo calculation. See? That's communicating from one teammate to the next. So line connecting is very, very powerful. Getting in your direct signals, all right? So amazing, sir. Yeah, thank you, Val. Appreciate that. Resonate on me. So a project of SIM from precog, no implantation. And that's about releasing line centers. So once you understand your clock lines, guys, you come into precog. Now, when you understand that line center, you understand your ESP. The external sensory perception changes line position, your conscious line connection. Staying out of the subtronic line and staying above the system puts you at all levels of higher lines, okay, in your universe location, right? Because you have an earth perception to your universe that sets signals, okay? So when you get out of the observation cycle, you come into higher line communication of a space command of your system inside line system. So it's a lot more informative when you understand the track line centers to your space of pi. Okay? So triangulation, saw, orca, mailbox system. Sometimes you have to get one. Yeah, but see, that's it. You lose your way and you find your way. That's exactly what it is right now. Very good. Everything's a map line. It's how you use it through your Merkaba, how you use it through your energy course line. See, that's what it is. So think of your body as paint by number. Okay. That's all it is. You guys, you get a drawing, paint by number, draw it in, color it in. Boom. What do you got? Visionary, cortex, imagination of a drawing. Right? It's a map. That's all it is. Understand your AI vessel lines as true to stand position, location, and direction. Speak slower. Vibration. after picks it up. Always remember general space. Yep, that's it. So you stand in your own knowing. But see, that's exactly what it is. Stand in your own vibration and knowing. That's what everybody's coming into. So removing walls, travel through lines, no more. Yeah. But see, that's exactly what it is. And every time you guys come to school, you understand a little bit more of your memory line communication, right? The calculus line connections interference specification direction forms all line center to ground levels. Okay, it's to understand how to use line connections. Now, obviously, it's position locations and it's all levels. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Position locations, because it's a position of you or where you're going through location. Your intent, your will, your force, your creation, location. Those are the four things you're going to go through every single day of your life system. Okay, what is your intention? What is your will? What's your creation? And what's your location? All right. So, yeah, but see, that's okay, Jeanette. You're just trying to understand what's going on with you and your line division, your data stream. So that's okay. At least you're in the right zone. Okay. I know it gets confusing because the energies are very high and line conditions are high. But once you get a better understanding, you can get into one line communication. So when you're on a road and you're driving, there's only two lines, here and here. That's it. Okay, so cars here, you pass, right? And then you go into the right, right? So you're on the right lane or you're in the left lane. Right lane, okay, for driving, left lane for passing. Then you go back into the right lane. So you're merging. Okay, so you speed up, and then you go into the right lane and you slow down, and then you pace yourself through kilometer, right? Wherever you're going in your travel. So think of it that way. Try to center line the communication of one signal. Direct its signal where you want to go through correlation. Stay in the center operational line connections. That volumes you, okay, into one frame position in one line connections. Okay? So, well, I know. It's just way beyond understanding. Uh-huh. Yeah. It gets easier. It really does get easier, guys, once you reach those levels. It's just understanding more aligned centers of your mind through conscious locations. That's all it is. Higher levels of get into breathing too. Box breathing, method line, center line position, meter alcohol line conditions of breathing. We're going to get into that more formation line center, but I really want you to understand everything is line connecting to all levels. So we got a force line, center line positions, all levels of connections, a box over line condition of triangle. The male female aspect location of atom and line center of masculinity, and the female aspect line conditions of its correlation system of its electron connection. Times lines times pi. So line connecting high setting and position locations, close your portals. All right, so I close your portals on both sides. All right. That's a Trinity standing. When you're traveling, you're on. All right, so you're setting different sector location of hangars. So it's Trinity standing. What you're doing. You know, like you're disappearing and reappearing. Your particle system separates, and it comes back together. Comes back to you and sets up a pixel conception. Right, so it just reframes everything back in, right, through laser. So it sets line communication, and that's in time zones and space discoveries, which is line conditions, episode 4. Right, you guys have to really understand your times, what you're doing through your maintenance and mainframes, and line condition all levels of travel. All right, how to set line conditions to your Merkaba. Okay. So it's the male and the female aspects of position of your geometry line setting. Okay. The operation of direction of design through its division of its dimension. All levels of correlation in your 12 DNA track line center in one location. Okay. Which is straight up. Right? Because you start off at the feet and you work your way up. And center communication is all levels how you use your flux capacitor, and it channels up. You guys have to really get into your sound tones, really understand your body through vibration, right? Everything in your body, okay, is on so many line communications into volume of an acceleration. Time frequency times line over factor over pi, which means it's already line communication of future connections, right? Anything belong line center and line rotations. Now, a lot of people try to understand how to get abundance. Now, we've got into that channel operation stream. We can get questions and answers to that locations when we go on Zoom. Now, we started early, line connecting interference. We have a busy position location and calculations of weak line center. The 7-8 track location is putting you guys into higher level sequence. Now, space communication and your thought lines are going to be in line graphs. Okay, so line graph, line stream is set at high line position location of your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to be coming out faster in high calculations. Time space of times of pi. All right. So we all have to be informed of what's happening with our body and basically how to use it. You know, it's the basic understandings, the basic foundations of you, right? Go inside through calculation high system. You set up all line condition interference. Now, we did an extremely high line center to AI positional program setting, running provocations, all line connections, which is extremely amazing, all right? Because every time you come in school, you get a little bit more understanding. Oh, I understand mainframe projectors. Oh, I understand the project line centers, timelines times pi. Woo! I understand space command centering. What's a space command setting? What's a rotation spin cycle? What's a root or off surface locations of a mainframe position? What's a Merkaba channel location of tensor line center? What's a line division location of course line channel? Whoa, this is exciting. This is what happens when you get all line communication memories back, right? The center is communication system, 12 generation line streams. So I'll give you guys, let's see, it's a level line center, zero line gravity and position, 8 channels. Okay, that's 11:08 a.m. Atmosphere line center and position of map sequence, position times line times pi. That's correlate line center. So your calculations to your time frame line center in position location is all levels of a map. Your clock is a map. We'll get into that later. All right, you guys got 15, 20 minutes, and then you drink your waters, and we'll set line communication system. All right, I'll see you guys on Zoom. Adios.